Good morning, everyone. It's Brenda Quintana here. It seems like an age since I've done a live. It's been 3 weeks since I did my last live. So if I'm a little rusty today, I hope you will forgive me. I am in my studio this morning and I am literally freezing. I think where I grew up in the Okanagan, where I was just visiting my mom, it's very dry, and I really think I feel humidity. I don't know, it somehow gets down to the core of me, and I just feel cold. And I just checked the temperature in my room, and it's 70 degrees. So it's not like it's super cold or anything like that. My hands are cold. Everything's cold this morning. So forgive me if I look like I'm in winter mode already. I am just feeling it. And it's weird too when I go there and my mom looks at me as I'm putting on a jacket as I'm going outside, and she's like, is it that cold out there? And I really feel like it has a lot to do with the humidity. And like I look at the temperature and I think of it as like this fixed sort of thing. Like if it's, a certain temperature, you're going to feel cold or warm. But the humidity really does play a part in it all. So good morning, everyone. So good to see you. As always, I will get to your comments and questions at the end. And if you have any for me, please do post them. So today is Casing Tuesday, and that's the day when we take a card out of the catalog and give it a makeover. So let's take a look at today's card. And the cool thing about this whole Casing Tuesday thing is that you can play along with us. We have a Facebook group for it too. So I hope you will take advantage of that. And even if you're not posting what your card looks like when you're done, just know that we're all working on this card this week. And I think that's kind of a fun thing to do, and I really love it from the standpoint of being an experienced stamper, but this is also really great for beginners. So here's the card, and it's kind of an interesting card. It's got a greeting area, which you could change out for a focal point like an image or something. It's got this stripe coming down here on the side. It's got kind of some stuff in the background. And here is the basic sketch for the card. And you can see that the stripe on the left is there, and then you've got this area. Now, just use this as a guideline. This is your starting point, and you build the card how you want to. If your measurements don't add up to ours, that's fine. No one's going to come and take your card away or say you have to do it over. And I'll be the main example today because my card truly took a departure from this original sketch. I wanted to use the seal of approval stamp set, and as I was building the card, it just kind of morphed into something slightly different, but you can probably still see the elements of my original card there, or the original card there, but it just kind of got skewed a little bit. So let's go over to my other camera and let's take a look and see how this card came together. All right, here we go. Isn't the seal cute? I used the Witch Hat Builder Punch to create this little Santa hat. So that's just another cool way that you can use a punch that was probably really intended for Halloween, but now it's become a little prop with your other stamp sets. And think about maybe you could use this hat with other images, like the Yeti from last week that I used. I think the Santa hat would look really cute on his head or her head. So that's just a fun thing that you can use, play around, punch out one of the hats, and then try it with your other stamp sets or other dies. So I wanted to kind of create this iceberg effect. So I started off, and the iceberg was a lot smaller because remember our focal point was down here. And I wanted to layer things underneath it. Well, it kind of took on a life of its own, and the focal point moved, and I said the stripe on the side didn't make sense for this card. So really this to me is and kind of this seal is jumping out of the center of this iceberg. And I just kind of like layered this greeting on here down at the bottom. There was ribbon on the original card. So instead of doing that under thing with the ribbon, because I just can never get that to look good. It just doesn't, I don't know. It looks good when someone else does it, but when I do it, it just feels wrong. So I'll do my traditional bow down here. And I chose to use Pool Party ribbon. It's very soft and subtle, and it's there. It adds to the card, but it doesn't distract from the card because I really want people to focus on this. And then I used an embossing folder in the background. This one is the painted texture embossing folder. And if you notice on the brim of the hat here, I also use that embossing folder just to give it a little texture. So I've used it in two different ways. And just to point out too, I used that little star from the hat builder punch, the witch hat builder punch. I punched two stars, I layered them together, and now they look like a little bit of a pom-pom. So that witch hat builder punch truly can make a decent looking Santa hat. Okay. I'm going to show you how I made this card. First, let's talk about the ingredients. This is the Seal of Approval stamp set. Cute little image. Look at this little one. I think I'm going to try at the end, remind me to use this little seal on the inside of the card because I'm only using this one on the outside. And it's got some cute little greetings. I think it's geared towards kids, but remember, adults need a little fun in their life too. So some adults will really appreciate this card. And you know what? I don't know why this August host code popped up here. That it's just very random. I don't even know where that came from. My goodness. That host code, by the way, is no longer valid. I have no clue. Okay. The Witch Hat Builder Punch. This can be part of a bundle too if you do celebrate Halloween and you want to get this punch as a bundle. You can bundle it with a stamp set and save 10%. So just keep that in mind. Or you can purchase it separately just as the Witch Hat Builder Punch. And then I'm using the layering diorama dies. I've used these dies before. They make some really pretty fancy cards. So definitely a good standalone die to have. Okay, now we will create the card. Okay, I think to start off the card, we need to do some die cutting. So let's get out our Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. We're going to need the big guy because the dies will not all fit through the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. So remember when we're doing die cutting, we'll need the base platform, the number 1 platform, the thin die adapter number 2, a clear cutting plate on the bottom, and then one on top afterwards. And then we're going to die cut a bunch of things. So we're going to need the biggest die. Pop that on here. And we're going to need these two, the 3rd and 4th smallest dies. And I'll just, let me do the 4th smallest. I always have trouble doing the largest to smallest because it's kind of mind trippy for some people. And you have to count up from the bottom or from the top, and it's sometimes hard when I'm giving directions. So let me show you in just one second which dies I actually used. Okay, so there's that one, and now I want to do this one's the 3rd smallest. I still need to cut. Scoot this over here. And then I'm also going to need one of the smallest of these dies. Whoops. Okay, I just threw threw that on the ground. Okay. Let's put these through here. So we're doing the third smallest and the smallest dies. And then the first time around I did the largest and the fourth smallest. But like I said before, I'm going to show you in a second because I think sometimes it's hard to like think which way are you counting, smallest, largest, which direction. Okay, so I'm also going to take that this largest piece, and I want to run it through with the painted texture embossing folder. So I want to grab this base platform. This is a 3D embossing folder. So we're going to emboss it. Put your piece of cardstock inside. We're working right on the base platform. And you're going to grab your number 4 plate. This comes with the machine, and this is for embossing. Okay, so look at all that lovely texture. We're gonna have to bring this in one more time. I'm just gonna leave this sitting like this, and we're gonna bring it in the end when we do the hat. But let's just do these pieces first, and then we'll worry about the hat at the very end. So I just wanted to show you which dies I actually used. Okay, let me sort them real quick because they nest, but they're definitely free form. Okay, so let's start with the largest. So this one, the very largest, I used to cut out this one right here. And that one I also ran through with the painted, what is it called? The painted texture embossing folder, okay? So that was the largest one. And then if you count 4 from the smallest side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, or 4 from the largest side, 1, 2, 3, 4, you'll get to the same spot. So this one's the middlemost one. So I use that to cut out this piece, and then go one smaller, and I use that to cut out this piece here. Okay, so I think we're kind of getting the groove. And then the smallest one I use to cut out this piece. Okay, so I hope that makes sense now. Okay, I'll figure out how those go back later. Okay, so we're gonna need to stamp on this one, and I want to make sure that I did the correct one. Yes, it looks so small right now. So I didn't want to have to cut out the seal. So this is what I came up with. So I didn't have to cut him out. Not that he's a hard shape to cut out, but say you want to make a bunch of these, I find that cutting out takes a little while. So I'm going to use gray granite. And I just want you to notice one thing when I'm inking this one up. You're going to find that it doesn't look like it's completely inked up because there is an area in here where there's pixelation and it's a lighter color, like there's not as many dots to create the image. So you might notice that it doesn't look fully inked up, but it actually is. There's an area in here that will have less ink coverage on it. Okay, just make sure the two little, I don't know if you call them hands or fins or flappers, those two need to be inked up well. Okay, and then I'm going to orient this so that it's this way. There's a big bump down here at the bottom. And then I kind of want to fit in my seal like this. And give him a little press and a little wiggle. Not a wobble. I don't want him to be double stamped, but look at how cute he is. And so you can see where that light area is. That's the shading, the natural shading in the stamp. So that means you don't have to color this guy, which is like fabulous for quick stamping. Okay, so now I want to create kind of this pool party background. So what I'm going to do is I have a little piece of scrap paper, a pool party ink pad, and a sponge dauber. And the easiest way I found to do this is to just kind of brush away from the seal. Straight out to the edge of the card. And you can go back over this if it's not dark enough in a moment. So just start at the edge of the seal. This really doesn't take very long. I'm going to have to come back in there for a second, but I wanted to and then I'm just going to go in between that tail and his body just a bit. And this little end that didn't do too well at the end, I'm going to just brush that out. And you can hit any areas that you think need a little bit more ink. And there it is. So now he's kind of in like a pool party pool of water, and he's going to jump out of the middle of that iceberg. Okay, so then we can take this one and adhere that together. So it's kind of like a layer. Oh, and I know a lot of people ask about my little glue jar. Well, do you think I remember to cap it while I was away on vacation? No. The very first card I did when I came back, this was still good. I hadn't, done anything with it. I probably should have, though, put it out of the sunshine, because when the sun shines on it, it does tend to want to liquefy a little bit. So we're just going to add that onto there. Okay. And then we've got this piece, and we're going to add that onto there in a moment. So let's work on this little guy. So this one has kind of two bumps at the top. When I stamped this yesterday, I actually stamped first and then die cut. So let's see how well I can stamp on the die cut shape versus doing it the other way around. So I've got my basic gray ink pad here. It's a darker ink than the gray granite. If you only wanted to use one ink, I would get the gray granite and use that. I just wanted just a slightly different shade for this. So let me see if I can get this to fit on here without too much trouble. Okay, that's not bad. So what I would probably recommend is doing your stamping and then die cutting, and that way you can get it exactly how you want it on there, but that's not bad. So then what we're gonna do is grab our card base, and the card base is 11 inches by 4 1/4, scored in half at the 5.5 inch mark. Let's fold that. Okay, so we've got our pieces. We need to glue this one on here first, because this one needs to fit onto the card base. And if you put this on first, then you can make sure things like your greeting are level. So you can just tilt this, twist it however you want so that it will fit on here. It's supposed to look like an iceberg. Yes, I know. I kind of feel like I really, okay, this seal here, he's oriented a little bit differently than my other seal. So I could have him going like this, but I think I'm going to keep him level. So let's just add this one. So let's see how the difference between the two look. So just kind of try to patch him in here. Okay, I think that looks good. I hope I left enough room for my little hat at the top, but we'll see. And then this little greeting right here, I'm going to add it right about there. It's part of the iceberg multi-layered. Okay. All right. So you can see right here, this is like a nice basic card, but it says, hope your Christmas makes a big splash. And so, you know, having the Santa hat there really adds like the little Christmas pop of red and splash. So let's do that next. So I've got the witch hat builder punch, and I've got a piece of real red. And what I want to do here, I of course do not need the whole witch's hat. There is a corner right here and a corner right here where the hat goes and becomes narrower. That is the point where I want to feed this cardstock in. So you can kind of see, hope you can kind of see that I am going to be cutting off most of the bottom of the hat. And when the hat goes narrower into that upper part, that's the part I still want to capture on the cardstock. So I'm going to just do that. Okay, now I'm going to punch. All right, and I don't need the rest of the cardstock, but I will need a little bit of a band. So let me bring out, I have this piece that I have left over. So I want to have a band right here for the hat. So I'm just using this scrap piece and I'm lining it up again just where I lined it up before with the Santa hat, right where it corners. And I think I did something wrong with my punch. There we go. Oh, this little piece right here with it was pushed back the wrong way. Now you can feed this back if this ever comes out for you. You just kind of feed it back on an angle. And it will work back in, because this hole, just don't feed it in straight. If this thing ever comes out for you, fit the bottom piece in on an angle and it should work back in there for you. Okay. All right, so we have this weird piece that I just punched with a die cut piece coming out of it, but that's fine because I just need this bottom piece. So if I can find my scissors. There's another little notch here and another little notch here. And that's what you're going to use. You're going to line up your scissors on those two notches and just cut them. And then that is going to fit onto here. And one way will look better than the other. Will be like that on the bottom of the hat. And then we also need a few stars. So let's see if we can do that with this other piece of the scrap. Stars, and over here on this side, some more stars. Okay. All right. So all you need to do is find two matching stars. I think I used the two medium stars. on that first pom-pom. This one might actually be the two larger stars. It really doesn't matter. Just choose two stars that are the same size. And I also want to run this piece through with that embossing folder. So let me do that really quick. Really quickly. So let's scoot this back over here. And I just found an area in here that's got a lot of texture, and I kind of lined that up. Oh, it worked a lot better. Let me move it up here because I think I have a bit more control here. There's a bit of static this morning in my room, so it's flipping around, but in any case, you just want to run that little piece through. And if I was doing a bunch of these hats, Santa hats, I would get a whole bunch of pieces and stick them through here and run them through all at once. I wouldn't do this one at a time. That would be take too long. So just put all of those pieces in there. Okay, so now this has a little texture on it. So we'll add this, make sure, I think that fits here. Pick this up. We'll add this on here. And you can take this, if you notice you got a little bit more hat sticking out here, like there's a little red edge. Now's the time to just trim that down to make it look flat. Oh, you know what I did? I put the Santa hat going in the wrong direction. Okay. That's not gonna look good. Okay, we're gonna have to do another brim of the hat because I have it going the wrong way. So don't do what I just did. We're gonna do this one more time. Brim of the hat. We're gonna have to do it now that it's glued down on the other side. There's nothing I can do about it. So take two, line this up, and this time for this punch piece, I'm actually gonna lay this flat. This last time it didn't want to do a very nice job of stamping that middle piece. So if you ever have a punch that is it doesn't, it punches like it's hard to punch up in the air, then put it down on the surface, line it up, and then punch like this with your hands on the surface with both heels of your hand. Okay, take two. But you'll really get a chance to see how I did this. So yes, I am going to have to texturize it again because I really like the texture. Okay, let's put this in here. Run it through. Now we're going to make sure it faces the correct way. I guess I can't really mess it up again because there's only one other side this can be adhered to. Okay. So I think, not sure which way is the right way. I think this is. Okay. Put a little glue on this time. It's okay that there's a brim on the back side of the hat. That's okay. All right, and now I see a little bit of red on this side, so I'll just do a little trimming. Okay, so now let's glue these two stars together. Tiny bit of glue, and then you just want to kind of twist them so that they overlap and kind of look like a pom-pom. I know that's kind of hard to see. And then just put a little tiny bit of glue on the end here. All right, okay. So now we can add this to our seal. And it looks a little better, like it doesn't look so good when it's going straight up. I think it looks a little better when it's a little bit tilted on the seal's head. But do however you want. Oh, actually, originally I put the pom-poms on with a mini dimensional. But it's fine either way because with the 2 layered stars, it's going to have a little bit of dimension anyway. Okay, to finish this off, we're going to do some pool party ribbon. And I didn't tie a bow in advance, so let me get out my little bow maker. And if I remember, I'll leave the link. This is a non-Stampin' Up! Product, this bow maker. And I will leave the link down below for this. But it just, if you're making a lot of bows, this will make your life easier and faster. I could make a bow in the air too, but this way bows are also very consistent and fast. And I just want to add that bow right down here. I'm going to use some tear-in tape. And this is very see-through, this ribbon, but the tear-in tape, if I put it on the back loops of the ribbon, it doesn't really show through because it's a kind of a transparent tape. And by putting that much adhesive, one on each part of the bow loop, you should be able, the bow should stay on there well. Now the trick is just getting the backing off. And I have no fingernails right now. So you might be able to do this easier than me. Okay, there we go. And we'll just add that down here. You could put your bow elsewhere on the card too. It doesn't have to be right there. All right, and then we're gonna grab some iridescent rhinestone jewels and just add them to the card. Right here. Put one down here, and then I'm using one of each size. These are a really good embellishment because they go with any card. They just add a little sparkle. So if you could only have one embellishment right now, this would probably be my favorite embellishment to get, the iridescent rhinestone jewels, because they just complement cards very nicely. Okay, and there's the card. Let's add a little seal to the inside of the card. So I cut another layer the same as this largest outer layer. I didn't emboss it this time. And if you just want to add that to the inside, so if I was going to add it right there, because I want to keep the same feel for the card, and I've got this little seal guy right here, and I thought maybe he'd look cute down here in the bottom. Let me find my ink pad. Okay, there's the gray granite again. And so we'll just we'll add him right here. There he is. He's so cute. There are some other greetings that you could use for the inside. I really like this one. Here together or miles apart, you're always there in my heart. So, that could be one that you could use on the inside for that one. Or you could do, the other thing you could do is, say you wanted to do this one like for a terrific grandson or for a wonderful granddaughter. What I would do is add that on the outside of the card, maybe in this area, and then use Hope Your Christmas Makes a Big Splash on the inside. Or you could do it the other way around, but these are nice greetings that you could use, in a pairing. Or do what I did and then use this one here, Together We're Miles Apart, You're Always There in My Heart. That's a really nice one as well. So for now, I'm going to leave it without an inside greeting. And then I'm just going to adhere this, though, to the inside. And I think this kind of nicely finishes off the card and kind of makes it match the outside, right? And there's still enough room to write. And so that's how I would finish off the card. So cute. I just love, love, love the little seal of approval stamp set. It's just got a lot of personality, and you could also add like a little Christmas tree to the inside of the card. I would maybe stamp that. I'm trying to think, maybe in Pear Pizzazz, not a super dark green, just to give it a little bit more of a Christmas feel. And then you could put that little star on the top of the tree and make it look kind of cute. So, you've got little options for that. Hey, I'm going to do that right now. How about we do it and see how it looks? That way you'll know. Okay, I'm grabbing this. Okay, so let's see. I'm going to put, you know what? If I had done this before, I probably would have put the tree on the other side, but we could put it, I don't know. I think I kind of want to put it up in this area here. Normally, I kind of do a grouping, so let me see. I think I want to do Pear Pizzazz. And you know what I do when I want to test out a color and I'm not sure? I grab a smaller piece and I stamp it on there. Because after I've already glued things to the card, I don't want to, I think I like that color. I don't want to, ruin my card and have to stamp all over again. So I'll just add that up here. Because I think down there, the way I had it situated, it didn't look great. And then I would take real red and a little A block. Make sure the point is up at the top. Okay. And then add that little pop of red right up at the top. So isn't that cute now? I think that's just really darling. For a grandchild or for a fun person like me that likes fun cards. I'd appreciate a fun, cute little Christmas card like that too. So there you go. That's how I took my sketch and turned it into something a little bit different. And that's okay. You're allowed. Every once in a while, I see one of our designers that participates every week do that, do a little departure, and that's okay. We're allowed to do that, and it's nice that we just have a starting point for our card, and then we build from there. Like, this is not a challenge that has a ton of rules. Just as long as you're kind of playing along with the challenge, it's all good. All right. Okay. So my brain is not working 100% this week, but I do want to tell you about my host code. And you know what? It is so weird. This morning I had my September host code up on here because I had been using it for a while, and it is like it is gone now. It is absolutely just I don't even know where it went. All right, so I'm gonna retype it. It I I don't even know what to say. Sometimes technology just it's just weird. Have you found that? Like I all the time, computers do strange things. So we just have to kind of figure it out as we go. And let me add this on here so we have the correct one. Sorry that I'm taking time away from your day to do this. But for those of you who need this, okay, so now let me make that visible. There it is, the correct host code. I have no clue why all of a sudden it brings up host codes from the past that I've deleted. And it's just there, even though it was not there in the morning. Oh, and also my little picture is gone too of my host code gift. So if you spend $50 with me in the month of September, you will get a sampler pack of the Celebrate Everything Designer Series paper. This is a 6x6 pack. The original is 12 by 12, but you're going to get a 6x6 sampler. It is 48 sheets of 6x6, and it's got a whole bunch of, it's called Celebrate Everything for a reason. It's kind of celebrate all the fall holidays. So it has paper from the different, like fall, Halloween, just fun paper and bright colors. So this is a nice little gift that will be sent out in October, but you must spend $50, use this host code this month to get that. But even if you're just placing a small order, please use the host code, and then you can also get one of my free with purchase tutorials. Your order just needs to be over $15, which is a small amount, and then you get a free tutorial that is not available elsewhere on my website. It is like a standalone tutorial. So those are always fun to get as well. And don't forget, we've got September deals going on right now. So when you log into the Stampin' Up! Store, have a look under the specials category, and it will have your September deals for you. And those are just products. They're updating them. There will be, I think, just one more update this Thursday with some new deals. So those are just things that they have put on sale just for 1 week, and then they switch over the following week. So those are just nice things to add to your order if you are placing one anyway. Check those out before you finish placing the order. The best way to kind of see where everything is if you go to my blog post. That's the very first link on the description of this video. You'll just have to go down in the text of the video. You might have to click on show more, see more, and it will give you a link to my blog post. And from my blog post, I have links to everything like the September specials. I have links to all the products I used today. So use that as kind of a reference tool to get to everything that you want to know about this card and about what's happening with Stampin' Up! This week. Okay, I have talked enough, and I want to get to your comments and questions. It's been like such a long time since I've done this, so I'm so glad to see some of you remembered that I still go live on Tuesdays and are here this morning. Good morning, Janine. Thank you for the welcome back. Good morning, Pam, and thank you for sharing. Good morning, Betty. Good morning, Dee. And thank you for sharing, Betty. That's really sweet of you. Good morning, Marty. Amy said fall is here in Washington State. Pants and sweater weather. Yeah, you know, it's just feeling really cold this morning, and I don't know why I feel cold. I think I do tend to run cold because everyone else around me doesn't seem to have to wear as much clothes as I do. But hey, I don't know what I can do to help that. I am a very active person, so someone said you must have poor circulation, and I'm like, well, if I do, it's not for lack of walking around because I certainly do a lot of that every day. Betty said, "That's a cool Santa hat. Thanks for the idea." You're welcome. Dee said, very clever use of the witch hat builder to make the stocking hat. Yeah, you know what? It's just like one more thing that you can do with the hat. And so you can change out the color to make it, elf hat if you want to. You can make it a green hat. So, I like that the witch hat builder punch has more than one use. I do have a feeling that with a lot of our Halloween stuff, doesn't carry over. So just if you want that punch, make sure you order it sometime early on in the fall, because sometimes our punches will go out of stock, and if it's too close to the end of the catalog cycle, it might not come back. So it's Halloween stuff is like really interesting because I have found in the past after something has retired, I find people are wanting these things. Maybe not a ton of people, but the people that didn't get it, all of a sudden they're looking for that particular product and they can't get it. So just keep that in mind with the witch hat builder punch. Good morning, Ellie. Oh, I'm so glad to see you here. I hope everything went well for your unpacking. Good morning, Karen from New Jersey. Good morning, Cindy from Everett. We have at least two people from Washington State on here. Karen says she loves this card. Oh, I'm so glad. And Jeanne said she liked the cute hat idea. Betty said she loves the card and it's clever and cute. Well, thank you so much. I'm glad you liked the card, even though it departed a little bit from the sketch. That's allowed. I hope to see your cards over on the Casing Tuesday Facebook group. I hope you have a great week. I will be on YouTube on Friday going live with either a 3D or a fancy fold card. I have not decided what I'm doing this week yet, so it's a surprise even for me, but you'll know it will be something good on Friday. So take care, everyone, until then, and I hope you have a great week. Bye-bye.